When you are holding on to someone so tightly and you don't want them to go, that is putting a restriction on the energy. Not to mention the fact that you are putting a restriction on that person. It was a really beautiful example in Tracey's previous lifetime where they were in very simple times, a period of time where communication was written on cave walls and the flow of energy was fluid. She knew that she could leave her family for a couple of months to go out and hunt, and there would be no hurt feelings. There would be no problem. That essentially she was doing what she needed to do. Welcome to the Akashic Recordings. My name is Annette Delu, Akashic conduit, channel, and spiritual guidance coach. What you're about to experience is an authentic Akashic Records session with me and one of my clients. Shared with permission and with names changed for privacy, these sessions offer a sacred window into the records themselves. By listening, you're invited into these beautiful stories, an intimate glimpse into the wisdom, healing, and guidance held within the Akashic field. You might even find yourself connecting to some of the information there, feeling some aha moments that the information resonates for you and your life. If you would like to book a session with me and be part of the podcast, please feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. When you book your session, just make sure to check the box that you would be interested in having your session utilized for the podcast. If you have been wanting to learn how to connect more deeply with your intuition and the Akashic Records, I have amazing news. You can now join the waitlist for the next Soul Discovery Workshop. Simply head to my website, and on the homepage, you'll find a section for Soul Discovery Workshop with a button that says sign up for the waitlist. That is at infinitesoullove.com. By joining the waitlist, you'll be the very first to know when the next online workshop opens for registration. Just enter your name, your email address, your phone number, and I'll make sure that you receive the registration email as soon as the course is ready to launch. And as a thank you, everyone on the waitlist will also receive an exclusive early bird discount code when registration opens. If this workshop has been calling to you, make sure you head to the website now and sign up for the waitlist today. For the last episode of the season, we are speaking with Tracey. The main themes of this particular session have to do with unconditional love, the harmonious loop of giving and receiving in manifestation, being able to let someone leave you because that is what is best for them. Collective energies in relationships and how they shape what we think what a relationship should be. In parts of this episode, we do touch on Tracey's twin flame journey. I want to acknowledge the fact that not everybody has a twin flame and not everybody is on the twin flame journey. But I promise you that these themes and some of the subjects we talk about are absolutely pertinent to anyone in a connection or a relationship. Many of you may not know, but my sole purpose on this earth is to anchor in unconditional love and to help people recognize codependency. And this is something that we talk about in Tracey's session as well. And finally, towards the end of the session, we talk about unconditional love in terms of parenting. Tracey was asking questions about how she can help her son and how she can make their relationship more harmonious and how to guide him in relationship to his body, his weight, and his relationship with food and activity, and how much should you push, how much should you take a step back and allow him to have his own journey. Okay, so why don't you give me a little rundown of what you would like to cover today?
Okay. I went into a meditation and kind of just asked. And one of the things came up was asking about, because in our prior session in June, we had talked about my life path and purpose. And I'm starting to get a little bit more intuitive things by writing my dreams down and things like that, as you had suggested.
Great.
So it came to me that I should see if there's something from a past life that would help me with my new journey. I was able to finally graduate from school 2 weeks ago. So I have my degree now. So it's time to
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm so excited to accomplish that goal. If nothing else, for me, what it did in my life was show me that if I put my mind to something, I can certainly do it. So
Yeah.
I believe that was part of my journey here. So also too, really wasn't going to talk about my twin, but then it hit me the other day and my angels were like, make sure you tell Lynette to ask about the past life where you and your twin had children.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah, we can definitely tap into that.
Some days I struggle with a relationship with my son. It's not that him and I have a bad relationship. It's just I'm trying to get him as much help to move his life forward as I can. And I think I'm doing everything good, but I don't know if there's some kind of karma or something from a past life with him. For some reason, that kind of hits home a little bit too.
Yeah, the first thing that I'm getting, so we'll definitely look into that, but just the first message that I'm getting regarding you and your son is that you have to understand that he has his own life path. There's oftentimes nothing you can really do about that. There's the connection that you have with him and the reason why he chose you as a parent, the reason why you incarnated together. But then there's also his own life path that he needs to follow and the lessons he needs to learn. And sometimes that might have nothing to do with you. We'll dive into that and see if we can get any other information regarding that. Was there anything specifically that you wanted to tackle in terms of subject matter regarding him?
He's such a good child, and I believe he's really intuitive too. It's more that I've been talking to him a little bit about trying to further his, I think, talents along a little bit. He came in one day and he was talking to a friend about tarot, and he's asking questions and wanting to show his friend what tarot was. So it was pretty cool that he's starting to come to me with that. So I guess if that's something I should be continuing with him.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can certainly ask about that. Your root chakra is doing great. Like literally, I'm seeing a little mini version of you like dancing. Your sacral chakra is doing better. It's got a little spark. So like when you're trying to light a fire and it just has that little spark that's just about to start up into a flame. That's kind of what I'm seeing. This is all about you getting your degree, and like I just keep on hearing I did it. Like you're on cloud 9 regarding that. It's something that you didn't believe in yourself before. You didn't believe that you could do it, as you said. So your solar plexus chakra is just completely lit up. I'm hearing endless possibilities. And believe it or not, it has nothing to do with the degree. It has to do with your own personal power and what you believe in for yourself. So yes, of course, the degree is definitely helpful and that's going to be great for you. But the bigger thing is actually your own personal feeling about yourself and what you can do. I want to thank Akula, my Akashic guide, for being here. Thank you for helping us with all of the information we need today. I want to thank Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon for being here as well, allowing us access to the Akashic Records and any information that we need. Today we are opening up the Akashic Records. So immediately they're telling me that they want to go to the twin first. So for your twin flame and you and the lifetime that you've had together, out of all the lifetimes you've had together, which ones do we need to look at today that are going to be helpful for her? They're actually showing me 2.
Wonderful.
They're saying that the reason why these 2 they want to show you now is because it is an energy that is on par with where your energy is now. It's going to give you a brief glimpse at how far you've come in this lifetime versus the other lifetimes. Okay, so let's take a look at that first lifetime, please. Okay, so I'm just going to start with what I'm seeing first. They're showing you both in a kitchen. It's a rather rudimentary kitchen, and you're cooking, and basically I'm seeing him as your husband in this lifetime, and like he's covered in kids. Let me see if I can count them. Hold on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, and they're all young, very young, and they're all literally clinging to him. So like he's got like one on his head, one on his like shoulder and / arm. Like he's got sort of one over his shoulder. And then he's got 2 more in the left arm / shoulder, and then one clinging to his leg. And literally they're just clung to him. And you're running around the kitchen. You're trying to get things done. And I'm hearing him say like, what am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do with these? They're all over me. And you're saying, like, yeah, welcome to my world. And he's kind of exasperated because he doesn't know what to do. Like, this is not something that he's experienced very often. And I'm getting that he hasn't been home a lot. Wherever he goes, it's due to his job, and he is often off doing various different things. So like, he's not home often enough to have this experience on a day-to-day basis. He loves them very much, though. He loves the kids very much. I'm seeing a really nice bond that he has with them, even though he's not there very often. Oh, it's interesting because like what I'm seeing is the bond between him and the kids and the bond between him and you. And he has great love for you in this particular lifetime. So much love for you. And you're basically sort of pushing him away. You're like, you're never here. You're not even really a father. You're not even really a husband. Like, you just pop in whenever you want to. And that's pretty much it. And so that's your attitude towards him. And it's something that is a collective wound that you're playing out in this lifetime. So the collective wound is that when you're in a marriage or a relationship, that you have to be together all the time. You have to stay connected all the time in the 3D. When in fact, you know as well as I do in this twin flame journey that you don't have to stay connected in the 3D. You can be connected spiritually and not see each other and not be connected in the 3D at any given moment. This is part of the fine tuning that you've been doing in this lifetime, the current lifetime you are in, is being able to accept and be in that space of understanding and knowing that you can still connect not only to your twin flame, but to other people energetically and not have to have them in your life 24/7. It's the unraveling of that codependent nature that we have a tendency to cultivate in society, saying that, oh, well, if you're not here to support me, then you're a bad person. And whereas that's not necessarily the case, and especially in this past lifetime, because if I expand the view, like after I see him with all the kids, I'm seeing you and your neighbor friends, and I'm seeing there are 3 different women who also have children that you get together with on a regular basis, and you all help each other. And so ultimately, you don't really need his help. You want it, but you don't really need it. You've not really identified in this particular lifetime, like why he's even in your life. You know that he's your husband. You know that you have kids together, but you're still struggling at this time in this previous lifetime to understand why you chose him, why he's somebody who's in your life. And it is because you're not super connected energetically on a spiritual level with him, but he's energetically connected to you. In this particular past lifetime, he was very aware of your connection and you were not. You didn't understand it. You didn't see it. And I keep on hearing the words like, what's the use of you? Like, what are you here for?
It makes a lot of sense with this lifetime too.
Are you seeing the correlations of the differences in how you've grown, though, in between the 2 lifetimes?
Oh, yes. Yeah, very much so. Of course, him and I have had kind of a codependent thing at the beginning, and now I don't have to hear from him all the time. I'm good. On his birthday was September 18th. So I connected with him, wished him a happy birthday. And we started talking and texting again. And I let him know about my schooling because he's always been there. I thanked him for being there during my schooling, even just with the occasional woohoos and you got this, support that he didn't realize how much he had given me. I said, I didn't let myself down this time. And I made sure I accomplished my goal for me. We chatted a few more times, and then it's been over a week now since I've heard from him again. And it was like, okay, well, I'm a little sad about that, but then it's like, it's okay. It is okay. And so when you went through the heart chakra and saw that sadness, I'm like, well, that makes sense. Kind of funny in this lifetime between the 2 of us. He has 3 children and I have 2.
So you split the duties.
Yeah, we split the duties in this lifetime.
That's amazing.
And he's such a good dad in this lifetime too. It's amazing, and my kids, I'm all very connected to my children also in this lifetime. So yeah, huge differences, but just knowing that he's there and, I'll hear from him when I hear from him, and it's okay.
Yeah. One of the things that is a big significant shift in your current life versus the past life is that You had a lot of things that you wanted to do, and you blamed him for not being able to do them because he was gone and because you were stuck with the kids and everything else. Like, you blamed him for not being able to accomplish the things that you wanted to do, when in fact you could have done those things easily without him being there. You would have had to adjust some things with your schedule. You would have had to maybe tap into your neighbors to help watch the kids or whatever, but you could have made arrangements to do so. But it's like you really wanted to blame him. You wanted to blame him for something. And that wasn't the core of what was going on with you. The core of what was going on with you is you were hurt that he wasn't connecting with you as often as you wanted him to. But had you connected to him spiritually, you would have seen how devoted he was to you. You would have seen how much he loved you. But because you were looking for it in a different way, you were looking for that love in a different form, and he wasn't giving it to you in that form, you just chalked it up to, oh, well, he doesn't love me. And that was just not true. It was just coming to you in a different way that you could not receive.
And he has not declared any type of feelings for me in this lifetime either, but that's okay because I know.
Yeah.
Because I connect with him. Yeah. I know he loves me. I know he cares about me. He may not speak it in the 3D this time, but it's okay because I know in my heart.
Yeah. And the thing is that I wasn't seeing him sort of speak it in the previous lifetime either. It was more of the energetic and what he did for you. Like, he did a lot of, like, if you want to talk about the love languages, like, I see a lot of acts of service. Like, he would do things for you, i.e. have all the kids like clinging to him while you were cooking. But like, it was only few and far between since he wasn't there that often.
Right.
Yeah. What else do we need to see, please? He disappeared. Okay. He died on the job. So he left one day and just never came back. And I'm literally seeing you doing dishes and like looking back behind you and just saying, typical. Like, you just didn't skip a beat. You didn't grieve him. You weren't upset. You were just like, no, I guess he's not coming back. Like, it was like you knew, and you didn't know if he had died or if he just decided not to come back. But it's like you didn't take it personally. Like, it wasn't like you were devastated like he had left you. You were just like, oh, well, I guess he's just not around anymore. And because you spent so much time alone, like, it wasn't that big of a difference in your life for him to not be there. I see, you have a lot of indifference to him not coming back. And the indifference is actually covering up the grief. So had you actually sat in your heart space in that lifetime, you would have felt the grief and you would have been in that heart space connected to him, knowing what happened. But because you were not connected to your heart space, you were just pushing through. You were pushing through, raising the kids, doing the household chores, whatever you needed to do.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense and explains some things to me about this current lifetime, to wanting to, hoping and not some days feeling like I can't just surrender the whole thing because will he come back?
Yeah.
And I do great most days, but every once in a while that creeps into my head, will he come back? And honestly, as I get farther on the journey, I'm realizing I don't need him to come back. I will be okay. I'll have a wonderful life because I have wonderful things and I have my journey and I have my spirituality and I am able to do the things I want to do, like put myself on a plane for the first time in my 50s and go to New York City.
Amazing. Amazing.
Just things that I didn't do, but also to my ex-husband. When we were married, towards the end of our marriage, he called me Pinocchio and said she doesn't have real feelings because I wouldn't grieve stuff. So it's kind of been still there a little bit. And I'm coming out of that, I think, more and more every day.
I feel like we need to go into this past lifetime where you can connect with that version of you. Because I feel like if you're able to sort of unlock those emotions, that it will allow you to let them go and let them flow through you. Because it feels to me that this is a pattern that is repeating in this lifetime where you are, sort of trying to move the emotions without actually feeling them. And it's a very common thing that people do when you don't know how to move through a particular emotion. You just say, okay, well, I'll just compartmentalize that, throw that in the back of my brain and just keep on moving. And so those moments where you feel the sadness where you feel like, oh, well, maybe this is something that I really want, or maybe this is really sad for me. Those are the moments where that blockage is leaking a little bit into your energy field. What I would like to do is, if you can imagine this scenario where you're doing the dishes in this kitchen, and it can look any sort of way that you would like. And we're just sort of going to pop into this particular past lifetime. And if you see something, that's great. If you don't, that's okay too. If you hear something, whatever it happens to be, just sort of make note of it. And I would like you to imagine that you're talking to this past life version of yourself. Ask her to sort of stop doing the dishes, stop, doing the busy work, and ask her to connect to her heart. Ask her what she's feeling in this moment. And then let me know if you get any answers from her.
I lost my life. He was everything. I wish I could have told him that. I was just too busy.
Is she able to feel the emotion of that?
Yeah, she's crying.
So I'd like you to give her some comfort, maybe give her a hug. Tell her that it's okay for her to let it all out, to let out all of that pain and all of that grief, of not being able to express her feelings, of not being able to receive the love that her husband was giving her, not knowing what happened to her husband, of losing him ultimately. And it's okay to feel those emotions.
Wow.
Are you feeling any resistance from her in feeling the emotion?
It was at first, but I think right now she's saying I have him always with me and also my kids.
So I would like you to show her what you have in your heart right now, because you're a version of her that has had more experiences, who has gone through the experience of this current lifetime that you're in, that has taught you a lot. And I would like you to give her some of those tools that you have learned in this lifetime, and then see how she feels.
Better. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel. This is going to help me very, very much.
And how do you feel right now?
It's even hard to describe. It's like sad, but I'm happy. It's like, wow, release.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Wow.
I love the laughter, because laughter is such a beautiful release.
It is. And I didn't realize how much I think that has been a huge part. Sometimes I laugh at the most inappropriate times, but I think it was probably releasing.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I myself have gone through that when I've done some releasing, where you just go through like a big, big, big cry. And then my guides are really good about showing me stuff that's kind of funny afterwards, or like they'll show me a funny connection or something. And like I'll just start laughing and I can't stop laughing. And it's something that allows that energy to transform. Basically, you are alchemizing that grief and that pain into laughter, so you can release it into the universe in a different way than it came in.
Wow. So life-changing. I mean, I just feel almost like a totally different person right at this moment. It's amazing.
That's great. That's so great. So I want you to sort of anchor in this feeling that you have. So whenever there is a fear of expressing emotion, or a fear of letting emotion move through you, I want you to think about this particular moment. And oftentimes we can use an anchor of sorts. So sometimes we can use a crystal, like a little thumb crystal or something. So if you have a crystal at home that maybe you want to attribute to this particular release, then maybe take that crystal with you wherever you go. You can just like tuck it in your purse. And when you feel that you need to release a particular emotion, you can connect to this exact moment in time where you feel this release. You feel the safety in the release, and you feel the lightness and the transformative power of the release. And that will help you to sort of reprogram your body, your subconscious, and your entire auric field to know that, yes, okay, this is something that we want to do, because we got to sort of the core of it. And now what we need to do is allow the body to know that this is sort of the new normal, if that makes sense.
Very much so. Love that. I have some crystals right here on the table next to me.
Great. Okay. So is there anything else that you feel like you need to say or connect with that version of you?
Just letting her know that she is loved by herself, beautiful, and many others.
Great. Okay. So we're going to move out of this particular lifetime and move into the second one that they want us to look at. This is an older lifetime. So oftentimes with twin flames, we may have spoken about this before, and forgive me, I don't remember, but oftentimes we have the setup where one person decides to incarnate and the other soul decides to stay on the other side as a spirit guide.
Yes.
The lifetime we're looking at right now is one of those lifetimes where you were incarnated and your twin flame was acting as your spirit guide on the other side. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm seeing him literally pour love into this funnel that is going directly into your crown chakra and directly into your heart. And like he's just pouring the love, pouring the love, pouring the love, and you're just receiving, receiving, receiving. In this particular lifetime, this was an older lifetime. This was not far after your souls split into two. Okay. So this was after you split into the twin flame souls. And then this was sort of before a lot of the trauma that had happened over the course of lifetime. So you were super open and he was super open. And I'm seeing you just live that life in just such joy. And it was because he was just pouring this love into you. The challenge with that is that we can receive divine source love and we can receive it through our crown chakra, and then we can give it to whomever we wish through our heart chakra. The challenge comes in when we decide to give our own life force energy to someone. And that is when we can get drained. That is when codependency happens. That's when all of those things happen. So if you can imagine whatever love he was pouring into this, it was like a mixture of divine source energy as well, but it was mostly his own soul energy he was pouring into you. As a soul, our energy is somewhat infinite, but also somewhat finite in a lot of ways. So we can't get drained on a soul level the way that we get drained in the human form. However, it can be, they're saying depleted, but that's not really the word. It's not depleted. It's just like almost like it's less strong in its presence. And that's the best way that I can describe it. So if you imagine, let's say like a cloud that's really dense and you can see it's just like completely white and you cannot see through it. And then as he's pouring this love energy towards you, it's like the cloud is getting wispier and wispier and he's getting sort of more translucent. The problem with that is that when that happens, obviously he needs to stop pouring that love into you at some point so you can generate your own life force energy, your own love within yourself. And when he does that, when he removed that from your experience, you went into deep, dark depression because it's like somebody else was filling your cup, basically.
Right.
This was part of the learning experience. He really, really wanted to give this to you because he wanted to help you, but he didn't realize that it was actually just prolonging your lesson in that lifetime, because basically he was giving you like a shot of happiness and a shot of love, and you're like, woohoo, I'm good. I'm walking on cloud 9. And then all of a sudden you crash and then you don't know how to get back up because it's not your own life force energy, it's his. But I keep on hearing him say, but I couldn't not do that. Like, you are part of me. Like, you are, so much of who I am, and I am so much of who you are, and we are the same energetic frequency. We're the same soul. So like, how is it that we can not do that for each other? And that's what I'm hearing from that particular lifetime. The consequences and the results of that were that you made the decision in subsequent lifetimes that maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that because this was the outcome, right? So that was a really big learning lifetime for the both of you, understanding that you cannot fill each other's cups. When it comes down to this current lifetime, how this is translating and why they're bringing this up right now in this moment is because he is being very, very careful to not do that. A lot of the trepidation you're getting from him and a lot of the sporadic communication is that he doesn't want to give you too much for fear that he's going to set you back.
Makes so much sense, because when he does communicate, a lot of times this last time he's been like the kissy emojis, and it's really cute, but like he doesn't want to like phone call all the time. He's kept me I always said, I'm your deep dark secret. Like, his kids don't know about me. His family doesn't know about me in this lifetime. He hasn't told anybody about me in this lifetime. At times, he doesn't want to talk on the phone unless he's like by himself. That hurt at first. And now I'm like, it's okay. It's you're going through whatever you need to go through in this lifetime. And I'm going through whatever I need to go through in this lifetime, and we'll work it out. I tried not to let that affect my I'm not good enough. It did at first. It doesn't anymore.
Yeah. So part of that has to do with he's just a very private person. Like I'm just seeing like he doesn't like people to know who he is, what he's doing, all of that. And that's just the nature of him. But the more important aspect of it is our souls have a tendency to guide us in this way sometimes where it's like we protect the energy of our twin flame because we don't want any outside energies interfering with our twins' energy. So basically, we will not talk about them. We will not acknowledge the significant role that they have in our lives. Okay. Every twin flame pair are different, of course. And I'm certainly not that way. I think a lot of the divine feminine collective are like this as well, where they just need to talk it out. They need to talk about what they're going through and what they're feeling because it is so intense. Whereas with the more predominantly divine masculine side of the twin flame pair might not necessarily feel the need to share because they're used to the protection. They're used to protecting that version of themselves. Take that for what it is. It's just a matter of how he operates.
And it definitely helps because I've just had to the last few weeks, I mean, I literally just have to just let it go and live my life. And he may pop in periodically and he may not. And that is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any other questions about your twin flame?
No, I'm really good right now. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so then let's move into your life path and purpose. And if there are any past lives that we can look at that are going to help you with that. They're saying yes. How many lifetimes? 3. Okay. All right. Looks like we're going to get a bit of a story here. So that's great. Okay. So let's take a look at the first one. The first thing I'm seeing is I'm seeing you as a little boy. I don't know why they're saying this to me, but they're trying to indicate that this is prior to you and your twin flame splitting into 2 humans. So this is when you were a unified soul. And the reason why they want me to tell you that is because this is also something that is, your twin is actually working through as well, because this was also his experience. So I'm seeing you as a little boy. You're at a desk of some sort and you're trying to figure something out. They're showing it to me as like a writing implementation, some sort of way that you're writing and you're trying to figure something out. So you're like grabbing your hair, you're like putting your hand on your head, you're getting really frustrated and you're not able to figure out something that you're trying to figure out. You're roughly about 7 years old. I can't let my family down is what I'm hearing. I need to learn this in order to be worthy of my family. I have had generations of men in my family who have known and studied the stars, who have known and studied the constellations to be able to know how it's going to affect the weather, our farms, our livelihoods, our food. Everybody looks to us for this information. And I can't get this wrong. I have to be able to do this because if I don't, people will die. People won't have food. But how can I figure out what is going to happen based on a bunch of stars? I don't understand it. I don't understand why this is how they do things. It's not something that has ever made sense to me. And I see my father do this with such accuracy and I don't understand it. He must have some magic in him that I don't have. Maybe I wasn't born with it. Maybe I was skipped when God decided to give us our magic. I don't necessarily know how I'm supposed to move forward in my life if I'm not able to do this. One of the things that I'm hearing too is that I'm hearing it's like one of your guardian angels from that lifetime saying you don't have to do exactly what your father did. You don't have to do exactly what everybody in your family has done for generations. You can actually do something different. And if this is not a gift that you have, it is okay for now because it will come later. But the problem at this time was you were so much in your head. You were trying to figure it out logically. You didn't understand what it meant to connect in spiritually. You didn't understand what it meant to be in the flow of the energy and allow the information to come to you through the universal consciousness and through the universe. But of course you didn't understand that. You were 7 and you were living at a period of time where It wasn't something that was cultivated at a young age. And my brain is hurting right now. Like physically, I can feel the hurt that this child is feeling, like his brain is just hurting because he's not able to figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to let him know that he can let go. He can let go of the sort of tight grip he has on trying to figure out logically how to do this work. And I'm going to tell him to just go out inside and play for now and release some of that tension. Because oftentimes when you go out and play, when you laugh, when you take the pressure off, that is when the messages come. That's when the intuition comes, and allow that to just sort of flow into your life. This is why oftentimes we ask you to stop doing what you're doing and do something completely different, because that allows you to open up the energy to be able to receive. This is one of the big lessons that we would like to convey to you at this time. Is receiving is such an important part of manifestation. It's such an important part of your intuition. And if you are not able to receive, if you're in a place of resistance, we encourage you to go out and do something you've never done before. Do something that may scare you. Maybe you've never done it before and maybe you don't know if you're going to enjoy it, but that's okay. Try it anyway. And it doesn't have to be a lifelong mission. It can literally be one day, one event, 1 hour. Anything to get you out of the brain space. And while in this particular lifetime, you are adept at connecting to your heart now, sometimes if you connect to your heart, you're waiting for the answers or you're looking for the answers and they're not coming. And what do you do when those answers aren't coming? Well, you let it go and you move on and you do something else. They will come when they're ready. They will be there for you when you need them. You will not miss them. We set it up for the long game. We don't want to set you up for failure. We want to make sure you get the messages that you're trying to get. We will do so in every way possible, in the most efficient way possible. And we will not do it with urgency because most of the time it is not urgent. Most of the time you have time to get the messages. If it gets to the point where it's been a while and we've been giving you signs or we've been giving you synchronicities that you are not understanding, and it gets to be a point of urgency, you will know it. You have known it. You've seen the repetitive signs that happen. You've seen the urgency in how the information comes in. But even then, it still does not matter if you don't achieve or accomplish the thing that we are telling you about, because there's always another opportunity. There's always another chance. There's an infinite amount of possibilities. Do not limit yourself. How does that feel for you?
Definitely, like right to the key, because I was like, oh, I'm not getting this and I'm trying this and it's just not coming. And I'm like, was getting frustrated with myself. But then I was like, all right, so you're trying to do too much. So I dropped back and said, all right, let's get school done. Now that school's done, then I can do more creative things. So I started baking again and crafting again and doing a lot of things that I love. And I feel much more connected now because I'm not trying to do too much. And I still try to do too much on a daily basis. And I just have to remind myself, just focus on the one thing that I know I need to do today.
And make time and space for that information to come.
Mm-hmm.
Like the previous version of you that was super busy all the time. She was always, always, always busy. When we busy ourselves, we don't allow the space for the messages to come. I want you to, from this point forward, I want you to create a space where the messages can come. Now, that doesn't mean you just sit on a cushion and meditate for an hour, although you could. That's certainly a valid option. But make sure that you are creating a space that's not a busy space. Okay?
Right.
So whatever that space is, whatever you end up doing in that space is up to you. But make sure that you're identifying at least one period of time per day. And it doesn't have to be an hour. It could be 15 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. But just a period of time where you can open the doors and say, okay, angels, guides, I'm not busy right now. I'm just going to receive and I'm going to do something maybe while I receive. Maybe it's go for a walk. Maybe it's just be in nature. Maybe it's, I don't know, listen to some music or something that is going to be able to be relaxing, grounding. Oh, you were saying you're baking or cooking. That's a perfect time to do that, right?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the other 2 lifetimes that they want to show us that will help you with your life purpose and path. I have no idea what this is, but I'm just going to tell you about it. I'm seeing you as a man again, and you are on top of a mountain. And I'm literally seeing you Like lift your arm up, you're pointing your finger in the air and you're taking lightning bolts. It's like the lightning is striking your finger. You're taking that lightning bolt and you're like shoving it into the ground. No idea what that means.
I'm sure it'll come into play at some point.
It will. It always does. But the thing that I've learned at this point is that like if I don't say it, it's going to come around at some point and then I'm going to have to backtrack and I'm going to have to say it anyway. My guides have definitely trained me well enough to know that like, okay, it doesn't matter if you don't understand it, just say it anyway and it'll come around. All right, so let's see what else we got in this vision here. Okay, so I'm seeing you walk down the mountain. You come to a pond or a body of water. You toss a coin in the water and you say thank you. You were conjuring. Interesting. Okay, what was she conjuring? She was conjuring the exact right conditions for the creation of new elements. She was creating an alchemy of sorts. The representation of the lightning bolts, taking the lightning bolts and putting them in the earth, they were not necessarily direct translations of what she was doing, but it is the essence of what she was doing. She was alchemizing elements from one to the next, using the power of the skies, using the power of water, using the power of electricity through lightning. She was experimenting with all of these things. And each time she experimented, it didn't matter whether or not it was a success. She went down to the lake. She thanked God. She thanked the universe and threw a coin in the water as an offering and gratitude for what she had experienced in that moment. It was a closed loop of manifestation. She was conjuring. She took the energy from the skies. She created something new, and then she gave back. That is the cycle of manifestation as the universe deems it. This is how the universal law works. Everything in balance. And balance is not necessarily the right word to use, but it is this cycle, the closed loop of giving and receiving. This is what you are trying to alchemize at this time. Once the closed loop is in a perfect, harmonious motion, you will be able to manifest and conjure anything that you choose. You have been practicing this for many, many lifetimes, and you will master it in this lifetime. The challenge comes when you expect the results to be exactly the way that you want them to be. We want you to tap into this previous lifetime of yours, where your energy was relatively neutral in comparison to what the outcome was. It wasn't about the outcome for you. It was about the process of the closed loop of this divine energy, this manifestation. And if it was an undesired result, it was also okay. You still gave the offering nonetheless. This is where humans have a tendency to get a little bit stuck. It's because when things don't turn out the way that they want them to in the manifestation loop, they stop either receiving or giving, which then disrupts the harmonious flow of the loop and creates disjointed energy. And this is what you are repairing in your life at this time. Cool. Good to know. Do you have any questions about that?
It makes perfect sense, because I know in this lifetime, I've always like, well, it would be so great if it could just happen like this, but that's not how it has to happen. It may happen in a different way. It may not happen at all. Yeah. And I would be very disappointed if things didn't turn out the way I thought they should.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning that doesn't always happen that way, and it's okay. So yeah, makes sense.
100%. And you don't always have to make sense of it either, because if something doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, then you go back and you look at it and you're like, well, I saw all these signs and it was pointing me in this direction. And why didn't it work out this way? Well, you don't have the whole picture yet. You still don't have the whole picture. You have hindsight. Sure. You have more of the picture than you did before, but you don't have the whole picture yet. And so there are still things that are unfolding that will show you the bigger picture. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So is there anything else that we need to see about that particular lifetime? No. Okay. And let's take a look at the third one then. I feel like we're setting this up as like a parable for your life purpose. It's like you've got 3 different stories going on here that are you're going to be able to tap into the energy of these to help you move forward. I keep on seeing you writing. Like they just keep on showing you writing. This time it is a more ancient lifetime where you're basically writing in a cave with rocks. You've got different rocks. You've got different shaped rocks. You've got different colored rocks that you're creating the images that you want to create on this cave wall. It's a message. Oh, you're creating messages. It's a message for your loved ones. Mm-hmm. It's literally. Oh, this is great. Okay, so a little backstory. I actually spent a little time exploring some of the caves here in France, the ancient caves, the Neolithic, and all of that. Everybody looks at these cave paintings and are like, oh, they meant this or they meant that. And I'm literally seeing that the cave paintings that you're creating right now are basically just notes to your family saying, hey, I'm going to be over here. I'll be back in 2 months. Like it's literally, that's amazing.
And
It's
people were like,
basically like
oh, it's
it's like a refrigerator post-it. That's amazing. They're saying to me that yes, of course, other cave paintings had deeper meanings and whatnot because that was the means of communication. But the one that you're writing is basically just a note to your family telling you where you're going to be. It was actually more for the kids because you were able to tell your partner. They didn't really have wives back then, but you were able to tell your partner that you were going to be doing this. So your partner was aware, but your children didn't quite understand what that meant. This image was like a depiction of where you were going and for how long. Yeah, this lifetime is an energy of a lot of really beautiful unconditional love. So like there was no questioning why you were gone for so long or what you were doing or anything like that. Like your partner in that lifetime was just like, okay, bye. See you in a couple months. It wasn't a big deal. And it wasn't a big deal that you missed some milestones, what you would consider milestones in your children's lives. It was like the belief at the time was like you experienced what you were meant to experience.
wow.
And she understood, your partner understood that you were off hunting, you were off doing the things that you needed to do to help provide for the family and whatnot. And she was fine with it. And, she would go and do her own gathering and her own hunting actually, but just, sort of closer to where you lived. Everybody contributed equally, but there was no animosity. There was no hurt feelings. It was just very clear as to everybody's sort of sovereign being, what they were meant to do and why they were meant to do it. And this was because it was based in instinct. It was more instinctual and intuition based than 3-dimensional based. So they connected with each other more on that level than we do now. They're bringing this particular lifetime up for you simply because they want you to anchor in that unconditional love. This is actually part of your life purpose as well, is being able to anchor in that unconditionally loving template. This is a template that oftentimes twin flames have. Like we are actually here to do exactly that. We are here to bring that unconditionally loving template to the planet so people can start living their lives in a way that is conscious, that is aligned and sovereign. So they're saying to me that whenever you are in a position in this lifetime where somebody is going off to do something that maybe you don't agree with or going off in a direction that you don't feel is right for them or that is right for you, they want you to tap into this energy of this particular lifetime where there's just flow. There's zero resistance to any of it. You're allowing the people in your life, the loved ones that you have in your life, to go and do the things that they need to do, that they want to do, regardless of what your feelings are towards that thing.
Yes.
And I'm seeing as you are leaving, your partner is giving you like a different spear. And she's saying to you like, hey, take this one. This one is much better. You seem to do much better when you take this one. And you're saying, oh yeah, you're right, I do. And you take it. So like, that's the kind of love that you can give, is that like, oh, I noticed that you do really, really well when you do something like this. So here, why don't you take this? It's like offering that support and those types of suggestions. But if you were to say, no, you know what, I think I'm going to stick with this spear. Like I get the feeling that in this particular past lifetime, you would have been like, I'm just going to take what I want to take. And your partner would have been like, yeah, okay, cool. Like no big deal. Like she wouldn't have insisted. Mm-hmm. We really need to learn how to not impose our will on somebody else.
Yes.
That's the biggest lesson, not imposing our will on somebody else. So do you have any questions about those 3 past lifetimes and everything that I shared? And does that help answer the questions you were looking for?
Yes, because I was like, oh, am I just doing something wrong? I'm not. I need to quit worrying about it because I've always been a worrywart my entire life, as my mom told me. But she was the one that worried so much that I picked up on her energy.
Sure.
And so I've had to learn to like let that go.
Yeah.
My daughter, she'll do some things and I'm like, do you really But you know what? I've learned to just like, okay, she's got to do what she needs to do for her. She's a totally different person. And that does help me with my son too, because no matter what, I'll point things out to him like, you need to do this. I mean, as a mother, I do need to point certain things out to him, but he
Sure.
needs to
Yeah.
pick up the ball and take it himself.
Yeah.
It's
So that's
just,
actually a really nice segue. Let's take a look.
yeah.
Any messages the guides have for you regarding your son? I'm hearing he doesn't understand you sometimes, and he doesn't know what to ask to understand you. So sometimes if you offer up an option, or you say, hey, you could do this or you could do that, like he doesn't connect with the information because he doesn't understand why. And he doesn't know the questions to ask. They're saying that that's sort of normal for his age. Like,
Mhm.
kids at that age, they don't know what they don't know, right? So, like, they don't know the questions to ask. They don't know the different paths that are available to them.
Mhm.
And so when certain things are presented to them, they're just like, oh, I don't understand why. Why would I do that? Right. But then also you have to consider the fact that you're coming from a greater perspective. You're coming from a much wider perspective in your life's experience, of course. And then you add in there your intuition, you have an even broader experience and scope of what's going on. This is where sometimes that parental phrase came up. I don't know if it was, when you were growing up, but when I was growing up, it was big. It was like, oh, well, you do things because I said so.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And that was the whole parental thing. And they're showing me the reason why parents would say that is because, yes, they have a wider perspective. They have a more sort of bird's eye view of the world, but it is also through their own lens. So just because they have a wider view of the world than, let's say, the child does, that doesn't necessarily mean that their way is right or their way is aligned for that child.
Right.
What they were saying, don't impose your will on somebody else. Yes, of course, guide your son, show him the options, show him the options of what he can do, like the possibilities. And if you're excited about the possibilities for him, he'll be excited. So instead of going into a situation, what you were talking about earlier, instead of guiding or saying, hey, maybe you could do this or that, I want you to feel into that energy for a minute. Okay. So if you can just kind of come up with a version of that, like something that he recently came to you for, or something you were trying to guide him in, I want you to feel into your energy as you were guiding him.
Yeah, because he's overweight and he knows it. He likes to play video games, which gives him great joy, and I'm glad that they do. But he knows he needs to lose weight, and I think because I'm so worried about him having a heart attack and dying young, which could be his path. I don't know. But as a mother, you don't want your child to die before you. And so I get scared that he's not doing the things he needs to do to take care of himself. And I try not to scare him, but also bring him to reality. Like, you need to do these things for you. But I've been telling him, I'm like, you have to care about yourself first. And so I'm trying to get him to have a more positive seeing of himself so that he can do the things he needs to do for himself. Because I can't make him do anything. I can't make him go to the gym. I can't make him eat correctly. I tell him about portion control and you're eating too much of this, but I can't. That's my will forcing upon him. And I try to let him do it on his own. And it's been hard. So I just need to show by doing. I mean, I gained some weight at the beginning of the year from being a little off on my health. So I guess if I start doing the things and he'll see me doing things and I have him now not wanting to drink soda like he had been by buying some different things and getting him to try some different things. And now his mind's more open to other types of drinks he likes the fizziness. So we have him drinking sparkling water that he never liked before. Now he'll drink some of it versus having a soda. So it'll work. I just need to let it go and just be more open and understand that he may not understand everything. He's young.
Yeah. So the key word in that and the feeling in that is worry.
Yeah.
You can continue doing the things that you're doing, like encouraging and leading by example and all of that. That's beautiful. The biggest change that they're asking you to make in this is removing the worry and replacing that with anticipation or excitement for what's to come. Now, you might not be able to get from worry to excitement in one fell swoop. It's going to be a step-by-step process. But instead of the worry, what that could potentially look like is you, let's say, making a really beautiful, healthy meal that's really, really tasty. And there's a lot of those recipes out there. Trust me, I've found a ton of them. And you can find some really healthy recipes that are super tasty, especially for somebody who is young and may not really care about anything but chicken nuggets and French fries. But being excited about that and making it an event, saying like, hey, I'm going to make dinner for us tonight and we're going to have this, this, and this, and it's going to be yummy. So those are the types of things that you can do. And if he resists that, if he says, no, I don't want it, then you have to accept that. Because ultimately what you're doing is you're making that yummy, exciting meal for yourself and you want to include him in that. And if he's not on board, then that's fine too. Do you see the change and shift in energy in what you're doing? It's not a pushing energy. It's not a worry energy. It is a, hey, I'm doing this for me and I'm really excited about doing this for me and I'd love to include you in it.
Right. Yes. It makes huge difference. He likes to cook. A couple weeks ago, as I graduated from school, he's like, I want to cook you dinner. I said, well, what I kind of wanted to eat tonight isn't a whole lot of cooking. It's some things I bought at Trader Joe's that were kind of already half prepped. But I said, but I do want to make some chili, and I eat vegetarian more, and him and my mom eat more meat. So we made chili base. And I said, well, let me show you how to make my chili base, which is very healthy, and I said, tomorrow we'll have it for dinner because it'll sit overnight and we'll cook some meat for you guys to put in yours. And I'm going to put more beans in mine and kind of just split it off. I think he might have even ate some of my leftover chili because it was gone,
Nice.
It's kind of like, I just need to do more of that. Like, hey, we can do this, but this is, and he'll see both ways,
Well, and that's the other thing too, is that if the fridge is filled with foods that he loves and they're healthy, it's a no-brainer. Like he's going to choose them. Right.
Right.
And the thing is that the other aspect of this, and this is something that oftentimes people don't look at, when somebody is carrying excess weight, that's energy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And what is this energy that he is really holding on to? Is this from a past life? Is it from the current lifetime? Is it from some trauma? Where is that coming from? Because all weight that we put on or that we keep has to do with some energy that is within our body that's telling our body to keep the weight. Right. Oftentimes people are like, well, yeah, but diet and exercise and this and this and that. And it's like, yeah, of course, that makes a huge difference. But I can tell you right now that when I am in a good energetic state, I make better choices for my life. I eat better foods. I exercise more. Like it naturally happens when I'm not feeling that grief and pain inside and holding on to it.
Right. Absolutely. And he has some trauma with his father and some with me. I mean, him and I are always working on our stuff. And he says, Mom, he goes, you don't even know, you work on these things with me. He says that his dad wants to dictate how they're going to fix things. And so he doesn't talk to his dad. He hasn't talked to him in probably 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Well, and that is like we were talking about earlier, that is part of his journey. So however he's able to work through that, he can work through that.
Yep. I can't do it for him and he needs to do it on his own.
Exactly. Okay. So do you have any other questions regarding your son?
Nope. I'm just getting some perspective and knowing that I can tweak a little bit more. I've gotten better on the way I handle him, but I can tweak a little more.
Yeah. And the thing is that it really is just about checking in with your energy before you do something. And you and I have worked on that before regarding like texting somebody. Check in on your energy. What are you feeling right now before you communicate with somebody? Are you feeling grief? Are you feeling pain? Are you feeling worry or anger? What are you feeling? And do you want to express it? Because you can express it, of course, but it's about consciously deciding, okay, yes, I am angry and I really want to express this anger because I need to get it out. Do you need to express it to that person? Do you need to express the worry to the person? Can you take a look at the worry and say, okay, I need to transmute this worry into something else because it's not serving me or my son.
Right.
Just being conscious about what you're doing and when is going to make all the difference in the world.
I believe so too, definitely. definitely, because he's so intuitive. I know he picks up on my energy easily.
Yeah. And this is nothing new to you. You know how to do this. This is just a matter of taking the tools that you already have and applying them to other situations.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Wonderful. I'm going to ask my guides if they have any just sort of last minute messages for you. We do have one more message for you, and that is to keep going in the direction that you're going. Do not doubt the path that you're on. You're on the right path. So you don't have to ask anymore, and there's no deviation anymore. There were periods of time in the early part of your life where you could have deviated, but now you are fully on your path and there's no turning back at this point, even if you wanted to. So don't worry and just keep on doing what you're doing. Ask your angels and guides for help as usual, and just know that they are always here for you.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to close the Akashic Records for today. Thank you to Akula, my Akashic Guide. Thank you, Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon, for being here. Thank you. The records are closed. The records are closed. The records are closed. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, how do you feel?
I can't even, it's even hard to describe, like the release that, obviously that came with the past life. I mean, I feel lighter. I feel more focused in myself, understanding that joy is a huge thing. And I always, and it's going back to just remembering to myself, like when I'm happy and I'm spreading love and joy out there in this world, I feel better.
Yeah.
And something comes back. I mean, we have a very negative person in one of the offices I work at, and she gets to everyone. But the one day I went back there and I'm just like, after I graduated school and I'm dancing around and jumping when you said dancing. And she was like laughing at me. She goes, I really needed that. I said, well, that's good. That's what I'm here. I'm here just to sometimes be comic relief, I guess, for, to
spread that joy.
Yep. Just spread that joy and love to others so that they can receive it, and I'm glad she received it that day, because there's a lot of days she doesn't, and that's her path and journey. Great.
Yep.
Just having that release with that version of myself back in that lifetime with my twin. I mean, like I don't think I've ever had that in one of our sessions or any session I've done. So that's really cool.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah. And definitely pay attention to that as it unfolds over the next couple of days, because as you know, the work that we do is quantum. So it will continue to work over the course of time. All right. Amazing. Having a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Yes. And I will talk to you later. I would like to thank Tracey for allowing me to record her session for the podcast. Oftentimes when we are looking at manifestation, we are looking at it from the perspective of what it is that we would like to manifest, what it is that we would like to have come into our lives. And that is the receiving energy. But what about the giving energy? Because everything in energy needs to be a cycle. It needs to be the light and the dark, the giving and receiving. It has to be both aspects of the energetic cycle. When it comes to Tracey's soul purpose, we were looking at how she was bringing those two aspects of manifestation into what she was conjuring. And conjuring can have a very negative connotation sometimes based on modern vernacular. But essentially, it was the same energy as manifestation. When she was manifesting those lightning bolts and conjuring them, she was then also giving that energy back to the earth. That was the giving and receiving loop. When we are in a place of wanting to manifest for ourselves, what are we manifesting for the collective or for others? What are we manifesting for service and for what we are here to do? This is something that is often talked about in movies regarding witchcraft, where they talk about when you are doing spells and you are doing them solely for personal gain, that there is a consequence. And what my angels are telling me now is that that is sort of a a little bit of a distorted way of looking at it. It's not a consequence. It is the balance of the giving and taking. And so if you are in a place where you are manifesting great wealth, if you are not giving back in some way, whether it is through money or through energy, then it is a blockage in that cycle of giving and receiving. It is a blockage in terms of allowing the energy to flow as it is meant to in its natural state. This is where you will also find in manifestation where people will be very successful in manifestation if they are allowing that flow to happen, allowing the abundance to come, but then also allowing it to go if it needs to go, or allowing it to change and shift into something different than what it is. This is something that is not often talked about in manifestation, where there needs to be that complete cycle, that closed loop, if you will, so the energy can continue. So if you're feeling blocked in any way in terms of your manifestation, take a look at what you are giving or receiving. Which one feels out of balance for you? Are you holding too tightly to certain things, to certain aspects of your life? And that's a good segue to talking about relationships in terms of holding on too tightly. Again, same concept of not letting that energy flow the way that it is meant to. When you are holding on to someone so tightly and you don't want them to go, that is putting a restriction on the energy. Not to mention the fact that you are putting a restriction on that person. It was a really beautiful example in Tracey's previous lifetime where they were in very simple times, a period of time where communication was written on cave walls and the flow of energy was fluid. She knew that she could leave her family for a couple of months to go out and hunt, and there would be no hurt feelings. There would be no problem, that essentially she was doing what she needed to do. And this is something that we must connect to in our own lives, in relationships. Where are you trying to hold the person back that you are connected to? Where are you trying to constrict them and what they want to do? Where are you telling them what to do and how to do it? That is not unconditional love. That is codependency. Where you are feeling that you don't want the person to go, those are valid emotions. That you will miss them, that let's say they decide to go on a trip for a couple of months and not take you. In a connection, should you be able to do that? And the answer is yes. Love is freedom. Connection is freedom. And of course, we have our own set of contracts or rules that we have for each connection. Things that we're willing to accept or not willing to accept. And that is where the breaking point can come. So if there is an element of your relationship that you're in where the other person is wanting a lot of freedom and you are not comfortable with that, then that may not be the right person for you. If you are kindred spirits in that way and you both want a lot of freedom, then that could be the right connection for you. And I also want to define freedom as in you are not being controlled by another energy or by another person, whether it be collective energy or an energy of the person that you are in the connection with. This is not about having the freedom to go and be in relationships or sexual relationships with other people, although that could be part of the freedom that you require in a relationship. That has happened, but that's not exclusively what we are discussing here in regards to freedom. We're talking about energetic freedom, the freedom to be able to do what your heart and your soul is calling you to do. And then having a partner that can be with that and sit with that and allow that to take place in the way that it needs to. Some of the distortions that can come up in that have to do with that previous life we looked at with Tracey and her twin flame, where he was just never around. He was always working, always traveling, and she held herself back. She held herself back from doing some of the things that she really wanted to do out of spite and anger for the fact that he was not there to help her. He was not there to facilitate the time and the energy for the kids so she could go and do the things that she wanted to do. And in the past life, we saw that she could have very easily tapped into some friends who would have been able to help take care of the children for a little while she went and took care of the things she needed to. But she was stubborn and she didn't want to do it because she wanted him to do it. And when somebody in our life is not doing the things we want them to do, that is exactly what we need to do. If we have the conversation with our partner and they are completely against or do not want to do the thing we want them to do, you cannot force them. You cannot give them ultimatums. You cannot bully them into doing what you want them to do. You need to find a different route. You need to find another path of least resistance in order to get done the things you want to get done. So if that means hiring somebody to take care of the kids, if that means reaching out to some friends and asking for help, maybe that's the solution. And we're just using this as one example here because this was the example given in the session, but it doesn't even have to involve kids. It has to do with, let's say, something else entirely, having to do with something that you personally need in the relationship and the other person is not giving it to you. And let's say does not have the capacity to give it to you. Where can you get that need fulfilled? There are plenty of ways that you can look into it. You could get that need fulfilled within, through spirit. You could get that need fulfilled through another person, through a friend. It is something to explore in not trying to control another, not trying to tell somebody that they need to be a certain way, that they need to act a certain way, allowing them to be who they are. And hopefully they allow you to be who you are too. Another tool that we can use that can allow us to stay connected to the relationships that we have is speaking to them in the 5D, speaking to their spirit from a meditative standpoint is something that allows us to stay connected even if that person is not with us. I have used this technique with my dad, with my mom, with my sister. I have used it with significant others. I have used this technique with many different people, and it works really, really well. Just connecting in, setting the intention to speak to that person's soul while you're in meditation, and allowing them to say to you whatever they want to say. You can say whatever you would like to say to them, and being able to keep that connection open and alive. Oftentimes we cut off that energetic connection out of fear or out of frustration or anger. A really good example of that was that previous lifetime where she was home with the kids and he was off traveling, where she cut off her energy to him entirely. He stayed connected to her. So while he was traveling, he was always thinking of her. He was always feeling into her energy. And she cut him off entirely because she was so completely hurt and angry that he wasn't around. And so because of that, she wasn't able to feel his love even when he was there. And that is a really sad place to be, because you might miss out on the love that you could have because you are cutting it off energetically due to anger or frustration or sadness or grief based on things that happened in the past. So ask yourself right now, what relationships do you have in your life right now that maybe you have cut off that energetic connection? Maybe you've cut off that energy to that other person out of any of those emotions that keep you disconnected. Where can you start to open your heart? Where can you start to soften and allow something to come through in terms of the energy of that other person? And of course, this depends on if the person's energy is safe to you, if this person's energy feels good to you when you open your heart to that energy. If the energy of the other person is in a lower negative state, then it might be difficult to connect to them. I have found this with my twin flame in the past where I had tried to connect with his energy and I wasn't even able to connect to him because he was in such lower energy. He was in sadness or grief or pain. And so there are times when we can't reach our loved ones in the 5D because they are also disconnected. So pay attention to where you are connected, where you're disconnected, who you're connected to and who you're disconnected from, and start to work with that energy and identify consciously who you would like to be connected to and who maybe you might need to take a step back from. This also has to do with collective energies as well. The collective basically tells us what we need to do, how we need to be, what a relationship looks like. And I'm here to tell you that you can make your own rules. I've said this many times before in many other podcast episodes, and it's worth repeating again and again and again. And the reason why is because we need to break out of these templates. We need to break out of these old ideals of what relationships need to be. That you need to be something for me. That you need to do this for me in order for me to be in a relationship with you. Unconditional love is a flowing, symbiotic connection that flows between two parties or multiple parties, depending on if it's a family or whoever it happens to be, group of friends. It is an energy that can flow between people, and it is effortless, and it is freedom, and it is love. And if you're able to get to that space, to know what it feels like to have that unconditional love, and then to be able to have that love for self, to draw the boundaries when you need to draw boundaries, to be able to take a step back when you need to take a step back. It's not to say that unconditional love tells you that you have to love everyone in every state that they're in and be involved in whatever state that they're in. Unconditional love says that you love and accept the person as they are, but it is truly up to you of whether or not you want to experience an energy exchange with that person or not. It is up to you, your discernment, and what you feel is right for you. With any luck, if you are in a reciprocal, unconditionally loving connection, if you take a step back from a person because of their energy or because of something you're going through, they should be able to accept that. If they are still in codependency, they may look at that as, if you are not here to support me, then you are a bad person. That is codependency. Because it is not your job to be there for your partner 100% of the time. It's impossible for us to do that because we have our own things that we need to deal with. You should have the ability to say to your partner, to your friend, to your family member, I do not have the bandwidth right now to handle what is going on. I need to take a step back and I will return when I am ready to discuss or when I am ready to deal with this situation. But I need to take a step back. This is not avoidance. This is the ability to process, the time to process. This is the ability to regulate your own nervous system before you jump into something else that could put you off kilter in your energy field. You do have to look after your own energy field first. It is often stated that you have to make sure that your cup is full first before you can help somebody else. And it is not for us to fill somebody else's cup. They need to fill their own cup too. And so this is a dance that we do. And we are really just babies when it comes to this planet and the collective energies and figuring out what unconditional love really is. And we're trying to unravel that. We're unraveling what collective energies have been ingrained in our society for hundreds or thousands of years. It is time for us to start making new choices, creating new energies, taking new action, and base all of that on pure, unconditional love. I want to thank all of you for listening this season. It's been such a pleasure to connect with all of you and to hear all of your questions. I can't wait to connect with you in the next season of the Akashic Recordings. If you've been enjoying this podcast, it would mean so much if you could like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other platform. And if you feel inspired, leaving a review is always appreciated. If you're following along on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode of the Akashic Recordings. Also, if you feel called to work with me personally, you can book a session at any time at infinitesoullove.com. Everything can be scheduled directly on my website. Thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to connect with you again next week.